Okay. Welcome,
Hello in English.
welcome to the Famille Chéty winery. My name is Isabelle. I'm the owner, one of the owners. I'm working with my older brother, Christophe, and we are the 13th generation. Our family owns this winery from 1698. We have parchement or proof that time. Then we are five small vineyards, five estates, one from my mother's side, one from my father's side family. Both of their family were also winemakers. And I bought one small one of my brother and one from the corporation. Here you are in the cellar of my mother's family side. It's called La Cotière. And we're going to show you a little bit around, and then we're going to pass to another cellar. Please following me, be careful. Please come in. And this is a private wine cellar, but you are welcome to visit me. This is the cellar of the Amphorae, and you can hear it's a music. I hope you can still hear me. We always leave the music to age the wine. For us, it's my philosophy. We know the sound, like vibration, and the liquid are turning, and I think so. It's also very good for the mood and the attitude of our team and ourselves. Open the door to have more lights. And turn off the music.
We cannot hear the music, but what type of music do you wine? It's classic music or there is a variety?
Then here you have all my babies. I call them my babies. All my amphoras. This one are made in France, made with a French clay. Here, for example, I bought because I got a picture of my clay pot maker. His name is Mohamed. Then you can see they are made by hand. They are made by Circle here, and they are made in Castelnaudary in southwest of France, 3 hours from here. And Chancy going to show you around. We have some different origins, different sizes. Those one here, she's going to show you here. They are Italian French clay, but made in Italy. The size of that one is 300 liters, approximately 60 gallons. Here you have some bigger eggs also. And after the two kinds here, the cereal and the tava are come from Italy. That's the biggest one. That's a little bit more than 100 gallons. So that's what I want. You can see I try different sizes, I try different styles. But let me explain you more about here. But the first one I like. Then the smaller ones.
Stay close to the phone so we can hear you.
Sorry? Can you
Stay
hear me
close to
well?
the phone so we can hear you. If you walk too fast, we cannot hear you anymore. This is fantastic.
Okay. Thank you. Then here, I'm going to show you this one. Then why Amphora is important? Why Amphora is important and different? First, I'm going to tell you why I decided to age my wine in Amphora. I was in a weekend, and many times the winemakers on the weekend, they go to visit some other wine areas. I was in the southeast of France, next to Carcassonne, and I was exactly at Sarah de Goundy. I had a chance to test some of the Syrah and Carmenère aged on the same amphora. I really, fall in love, and also my mom, I grew up always with terracotta. My mom loved clay pot. She put a lot of flowers in it. She can cook in it. And then when I touch them, I really, you know, have all the memories of when I was childhood memories. Then after another point, it's very important, and I came back home and I told my brother, I said, hey brother, what do you think if we try to put our Merlot from this new winery called Château and also this winery, by coincidence, has a Roman villa over there. This winery, it's in Plasac. It's very near from here. I mean, the winery is a vineyard, very near from here. And on this village, they produce wine from the 1st century. Then everything, Amphorae, Roman villa, everything, you know, was doing well. Then I went to buy those clay pots. And what is important on a clay pot? First, it's a shape. It's an egg shape. It's a round shape. It means it's not square. It means when it's very well closed like that, here I use a silicone cork here, kind of to close it well. Then when I close it well, it goes on pressure inside. And with the difference of the weather, it's called the Brownian effect. It's a physics. The liquid inside is turning like that, like a two vortexes. It means the lees, the small sediments are always on rotation and they reconcentrate the wine. That's the first very good effect of the Amphorae. And the second one, it's according the temperature of the cooking of the clay. This one, the higher cooking temperature, it's 100,000 Celsius. Then it's a lot of micro-oxygenation, porosity. It means the oxygen is going in, out. It's like a little bit, it happened with the cork, but on that case, if you compare to barrels, it's 5 times more important than this exchange in a barrels, in a wood barrels. Then it means it's kind of accelerates a little bit the aging process, and that makes the wine really suave. I'm going to prove you it's a really high pressure inside, so I'm going to open it for you. Please, Tiancy, come closer and you can hear the noise. Then that shows, you know, please come have a look inside. You can see the wine inside. Then this noise shows really the pressure. You can see the movement because the movement is always, and when it's open, there's no movement. And you can see, I didn't open this clay pot, this Amphorae, for 4 months, and it's missing approximately, I will say, 2 liters of wine. It's the angel parts, same as we have in a barrel, but it's even a little bit more. And let me show you this color, because during all of these moments, it really reconcentrates the wine, and because of this micro-oxygenation also, it makes the wine a little bit darker. I will be happy to share with you, but so far, most of you are too far away from me. And you can feel it's still a little bit of gas inside. The wine is not sparkly, but it has a little bit of diesel on the top. And what I'm tasting right now, it's a vintage 2019, and soon I'm gonna empty them and to put the 2020 vintage, the last vintage we just harvested. It's very, it's not complicated, but no reuse because it's been 5 vintages we started. To empty them, I need to make them down, and it's a lot of handwork, and we are 2 or 3 of us, and we have to be careful and not to break them. That's the most important. I'm going to show you now what happened on the bottle, and I'm going to show you the bottle of this Amphorae. Please, Tiancy. Then I had the idea in 2014. I bought the first Amphorae in 2015. Then I really enjoy it. Stayed 2016 here. I show you stay 12 months exactly age in Amphorae. I decided to, it took me 2 years to do all the packaging around because I really wanted something special. Then I took these bottles. The name of this bottle shape, it's called Bacchus. And for me, it reminds me a little bit of the amphora shape. And here, I asked a designer to make a small amphora, and I love this design because for me it looks like a bird. And this vineyard, it's along the rivers. Then these vineyards are many times a lot of birds around. The red dot here, it's the earth. That's really for me the origin that the roots, where the roots live, where the water come from, really the origin of this good grape, the origin of the wine. Here on the side, it's a waves because this vineyard, it's along the rivers, and that's a wave of my river, the Gironde River, just over the opposite side of Margaux. Our name of family, and they are numbered. In 2015, we made 10,888 bottles, and this one is a 5,324. I decided to put a wax on the top because the wax it really protects very well the cork, and to age the wine it's even better. Then I want to take also the time, some time with bottles with wax. Some waiters have difficulties to open it, and it kind of dirty. I'm going to show you the best way how to do it. I think so. I mean, it's the best way, and it's not put all over. Here, when you started here, you take the small knife on your wine key. You can take a Château Mercier wine key, and you put like on horizontal side, yep. And you see, you just remove a little bit like that. You don't need to break it too hard. Even somebody who is not too strong can do it. Here we go. Here we go. Then you see, it looks like that. I didn't put all over. Now, I'm gonna put inside. And you're gonna hear another lovely sound we all love. You can also recognize the amphora. I put also in a cork here the shape of the same amphora and our name of our family. Then here you always remove a little bit because it's a wax on the top. It's a wax. It's not dangerous, but sometimes I like just to remove a little bit of the first wine. And here you can see these colors. Really, really, really. It's over, and it's a young vintage. It's 2016. I mean, not too young, but quite young. And you can see darkness. I know it's not the best. We are not outside. It will be earlier. But it's so dark. It's like ink. On the nose.
Maybe over the white sheet that you have.
Yeah,
Put it over the white sheet.
That's a good idea. You can see. On the nose, for me, it really remind me. You can see it's a very concentrated wine. It's not hook, because that's also the advantage of the Amphorae. The Amphorae, I really want to keep all the fruitness. I really want to keep all the natural of the wine. I have some other cuvée when I'm going to age in barrels, but it's not comparable because with a barrel, you're looking to marriage different flavors, the tannin of the wood and the tannin of the wine. On that case, I just want to amplify the tannin of the wine. It doesn't mean it's going to be rough or hard. It just means it's going to be suave and really full power. The first mouth, it's so fruity. You have the feeling like my mom, she does a grapes marmalade. It's something like this. Really remind me this fruit. And then you have a lot of complexity. It's not, like I said, it's not the wood tannin. It's really the complexity of the terroir, the land. This land, it's 30 meters high along the river, south lot. Then it's a very high drainage, and the roots go very deep, and the underground, it's made of limestone. The same limestone who built here this cellar. This cellar has been built by my grandfather around 1960s, and you see it's under ground level. Then it's naturally temperature controlled. Then the first mouth has a lot of complexity, and that's 100% Merlot. And on a palate, sometimes you have the feeling it could be a Shiraz because it's so concentrated, it's so fruity, it's so like black currant, cherry, strawberry. Then I have some sommelier in Saint-Emilion on a blind tasting said he was like a Shiraz. It's very surprising for Bordeaux. When you taste this wine, please don't think it's a Bordeaux wine. Think about the concept, wine in Amphorae, wine made by Famille Chéty, by myself, by my brother, really. It's not a Bordeaux style wine. And I would like to have 4 or 5 more years and test again. I've saved some for me, but because you can feel after 4 or 5 years, it even will be more suave. But even for a young wine, because I told you, because of this micro-oxygenation, it feels very velvet on the tongue. It feels like almost, you know, like if you put a nice candy. It has perfect balance between acidity, between alcohol, and you feel like after when it's a lot of also freshness. It's not heavy. It's very fresh. After one glass, you feel you really need the second glass. Then please do not hesitate to ask me for some sample. I still have 2016 vintage and 2017 and 18 coming very soon. Then I don't know if some people have some question about Amphorae or if you prefer to ask all the questions at the end. What's the best?
As you wish. I have questions about the Amphorae. Actually, I do have. It's about the stains on the Amphorae. So I would like to know, is it wine? Is it mold? And if this mold is good for the wine, is there an influence of the mold on the Amphorae? Or it's just stains of wine?
It's not stain of wine. It's like we say, it's a kind of mold. It's
natural mold. Okay.
When they are brand new, they look like that. That's a mini Amphorae. my clay, my Amphorae maker made for me, and you see it has color. After the first vintage, I think it's a protection.
Okay, you see it as a protection, come in a
in cork.
Yes, but does it has an influence on the wine? A positive influence?
It doesn't, but what I'm almost sure, it protects the Amphorae, and then at the beginning, I was washing off because I thought, you know, it's maybe something wrong, but it's not. And if I leave it, I have less wine evaporated.
Ah, excellent. Yes, of course. It creates okay. It limits the evaporation.
And you can see it's a different color, and you can see on the stage that these clay pots are made by circle.
Yes.
Make each circle, wait 8 days to dry it off, then put the other circle and put the other circle. Then it means each one has different thickness. That's why the reaction is different. Sorry. And like you said, the mold is different.
Okay. Oh, nice. And how about the music? The music, you say that there is music constantly playing. So what type of music? Is it only classical music? Does the wine evolve if you put a rock? For example, I'm a very fan of rock bands, but what would be the difference? Did you ever try it?
Because I didn't make It depends who is in a cellar. If it's me, it's gonna be more blues, jazz.
Okay.
If it's my wine cellar guys, it's gonna be more hard work.
Ah, that's why. That's why my question does. Okay.
And after, if we are not here, I leave classical music.
Okay. So
That's
very eclectic wines.
it does. It does. It's my thing.
Excellent. Thank you.
I got a question.
Yes.
If you keep your wine in amphora for say like 7, 8 years, does the wine will eventually develop oxidative aromas as well, or it will still keep its freshness like fruit forwards?
Unfortunately, I never tried because I never left in amphora more than 13 months. But I believe when I see the difference, because I test every 4 months normally, 3 to 4 months, it depends, and then I decide how long I'm going to keep it, the wine in it. I believe it's going to be oxidation, but not as a white wine. I have some friend who age some white wine in amphoras. Then on that case, you can really talk about much more oxidation because the white wine doesn't have the tannins, the polyphenol, the colors as a protection. It's much more sensible to the oxygen than oxidation. Then for me, I just can tell you after 13 months, it just keeps the freshness and you don't have this oxidation flavor coming. After 7 years, I cannot tell you.
Okay, great.
That was a very good question, Hugo. Thank you.
As a question, or we can move to another cuvée? I told you also I want to tell you about another special cuvée. I started also in 2015 vintage. It's called Atmosphere. It's a no added sulfites. That's another winery. It's a Château Mercier winery. That's a winery of my father's side. And why I decided? I was selling my wine in Brittany next to a wine producer from Loire Valley. And he told me, test this wine. It's not sulfite added. And I really enjoy it. I love all of his wine, but this one has some particularity. And I said, how do you do? He said, it's come from the land already. Then I said, what do you mean it's come from the land? He said, why do we use sulfites? We use sulfite as an antioxidant, sorry. Before we were also using for hygiene, but no, the cleanness of the cellars is totally different than, long time ago. Then it's an antioxidant. It's going to slow down the aging process. But in a wine, you have three other antioxidants: the alcohol, the tannin, and the acidity. And then we had sulfite. Naturally, some vintages already, you have sulfite naturally on the skin of the grapes, but not all the time, and on a very, very low percentage. Sometimes it's even not detectable. Then he told me, if you don't have sulfite, you need to ensure the three other elements are really well balanced. Then I went back home and I asked my dad, who has much more experiences than me according to terroir and each lot and each vineyard. And I said, Dad, I would like to tell me, according your experiences, which terroir give the higher acidity. And he told me this one. Then we decided with my brother, we went directly before the harvest, or when we decide the date of the harvest, we tested and we decided we want this kind. Then we harvested a little bit earlier than if it was for my regular cuvée, because I wanted to keep a little bit more acidity, a little bit more energy, and maybe a little bit lower in alcohol. Then I'm not looking for the full maturity. Then I decided to pick to this lot. It's not too far from here. It's every year, it's the same lot. I harvested. I didn't have any sulfite, even from the beginning, from the harvest. I put, directly in a tank, first fermentation, second fermentation. I leave the gas always, because normally we remove the gas. We want, oxidation. In that case, I don't want oxidation. And then after I'm gonna bottling very quickly. I bottle around April. Then it hasn't been even 1 year in a tank. I do the fermentation on the concrete tanks, and then as soon as possible, I'm gonna put in a bottle and sell it. Here, 2019 or is already in bottles.
Ça a
Yes.
coupé un petit peu. It cut it a little bit, but it freezed for a little bit, but it's okay now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Then here it's a vintage 2018, and the profile of this wine. I'm gonna also test front of you. The profile of this wine. Oh, I forgot to tell you why I call it atmosphere. I didn't decide of the name first. First, I want really to think if I was capable, and I really enjoy, the results. And I said, okay, I'm going to bottle it and sell it to my customers. Then, when I was doing the technical sheets, many times I said, no additives, protection from the oxygen. I use carbonic ice because I want to protect also. I use CO2 because I want to protect. And then it means I always keep the wine under atmosphere control. Then I say, wow, atmosphere sounds a good name for this cuvée. That's where the name comes from. And also, for people who know a French movie, it's a very classical French movie during the 80s, Atmosphere. Then I'm gonna test it with you.
Sometimes the atmosphere is related to champagne also.
It does. It does.
And there is no, well, I'll let you do the tasting and we'll ask afterwards.
Yeah. And I think so. It's a very good wine also to serve in a restaurant. It's so punchy. It's so fruity. And sometimes we say with a no sulfite added wine, you need to open them 1 or 2 hours in advance. In that case, I don't need it because I'm very well control the gas carbonic inside, the CO2. Then you don't need to open it in advance. Here also the color. Here now we have a different color. Oh, I'm going to use again the white cloud. The color, on that case, it's more purple than ink. It's quite dark because it's also the vintage 2018, but you can see around it's really purple. That means it's still a very young wine, and it shows also the freshness of the wine. Not adding sulfite really keeps the freshness of the wine, the crispiness. My dad, who didn't trust me at the beginning, he said, no, we always use sulfite. Why are you going to change that? Why, you're going to screw it up. It's going to be, I said, Dad, let me try. Many friends done it. It works. I'm sure I'm going to make it. Then my dad now, it's a bestseller he loves to sell this wine. It's a best salesman for that wine. Because the first time he tasted and the first time he smelled it, he said, wow, it smells like when we are making the wine, when we are in the top of the tank. It smells like almost the wine still in fermentation, but on a good way. Huh? It smells like before, when we put the juice before starting the fermentation. You have the feeling, the first feeling is like you just bite in a fresh strawberry, in a fresh raspberry. Not too much, yes, like raspberry, no blackberry, just raspberry. And then it's a medium body wine, but it's so fresh, so crisp. You really feel, I have some friend who always told me, many times it's a lady said, oh, I prefer white wine. I don't like too much red wine, the tannin, but they love the atmosphere. They really love the atmosphere. It's really a wine for people who are not very well, educated or connoisseur on a red wine. With atmosphere, you can be sure they're going to love it. Also, It's very good for the people who are not tolerant of sulfites, or more and more people, they are allergic on sulfite. And some scientific said it gives less headache. It's a wine you can really open at the beginning of the dinner, at the beginning of lunch, as an aperitif, to open up your palate, to prepare your palate for a nice dinner. It can be very well done on a barbecue, you know, sausage barbecue, even burger barbecue with a nice corn, you know, on a barbecue, or, you know, just fresh vegetable. But you can also enjoy him, you know, with a nice pizza, with a nice bolognese, nice pasta. It's really, I didn't talk, but it's not like Amphorae, it's much more full body
We
wine.
lost the image. It's back. We lost the image, but now it's back. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It was not too long. Then you can really, Amphorae, it will be more full body wine. There will be more, I would say, for a nice ribeye on a grill, for nice fish, you know, on a sauce or scallops. Here I will go more for a white meat or burgers or pizza. Here also, if you compare Amphorae, it's very good with the spicy food. I love with Asian spicy food, with Thai food. That's really, really on my pleasure. And atmosphere, I love also on a salad, on a Caesar salad, you know, something much more fresh. Then also, I hope, you know, I'm gonna make you to wants to enjoy this. He traveled very well and he aged also well. I don't mean you need to wait 20 years, but right now I still have few bottles in my private cellar of 2015, 2016, and it's still great. But I still think it's better to have this special mouth, to have this crispiness, this freshness. It's better to drink in the next 2 years.
What is the age potential for red wine? So if you're talking about aging.
I will say Amphorae, I will say 6 to 12 years, no problem. For atmosphere, like two to 4 years. I will say after it's not going to be bad, but it's going to change profile.
You said 2 years, even if it doesn't have the sulfites.
Yeah, like I said, I have the 2015 vintage. It was my first vintage for no sulfite, and it's still very good. It just
Perfect.
It became more like a regular wine, more like I would say my cuvée traditionnelle, who still has 4 grapes sulfite. It means it's more classical after. You don't have this you know, this very, very high contents of fruit, like I said, the smell, if you are on the top of the tank of wine, this grapefruit nose, you're losing a little bit.
Okay, and it doesn't have any, because same thing, you may think that it could have some reductive aromas, the positive ones, but not at all. Okay, excellent,
No,
thank you.
My secret, and I can give the secret of many, many winemakers, are using the people who bottle for me. Normally, I have the machine to bottle. I bottle off all my wine except the Amphorae, because I'm using a techniques. It's come from Switzerland. It's a membrane system who's going to remove exactly the CO2 I want. Because the problem sometimes of natural wine, but no sulfite wine, they feel a little bit sparkly, a little bit, because you don't want to remove the CO2 because you are scared of reduction. But in that case, it's a technique, and I can.
So it's with the filtration with membranes. Okay, excellent.
It's not filtration. It's a membrane system who removes the CO2.
Okay, thank you.
And then do you have any question about the atmosphere wine? I'm sorry, it's hard for me not to finish my glass.
So, more questions? So let's see the range. We have 2 minutes. Let's see the range.
Yes, then here I put, you know, all the different wines and the different winery we have. The white wine, Sauvignon Blanc, Sauvignon Gris, Semillon Muscadet, it's a very rare in Côte de Bourg and we're in Bordeaux. We Rosé, I like the funky labels. We try to be a little bit different. This is my brother and myself. The Atmosphere, the flagship of our company, of the wine estates, the Château Mercier, Cuvée Prestige and Cuvée Traditionnelle. My dad started to do this cuvée in 1982. Some sparkling wines. Clos du Piat, it's a very, very different terroir. Clos du Piat, it's really from the top, you have the clay, you have the limestone on the bottom. It's then the woods are suffering and the wine is so concentrated. Here, Jean de la Monge, that's my winery on my own name. And this one, I put open barrels like here. And every 8 hours, I leave the barrels open. I put the full grapes inside. I push it down. We call piger every 8 hours. I put the music. And after fermentation, I squeeze, I remove, I squeeze, I close. I call the barrel maker. He's going to close it for me. And I leave age. That's Malbec and Merlot. And what I do with this cuvée, I make a hole here in the vineyard. And I leave the bottles. It's been already there for 3 years. Underground, 10 foot deep, 3 meters. Yeah, 9 to 10 foot deep. And here you have the Amphorae. And I forgot, oh yeah, I wanted to show you also my brother. I'm working with him. And here I wanted to show you also my parents. My mom, my father, my brother, myself. And please, you are welcome to visit our winery. My mom, she's the best cook here. She does also for you like some salt infused with wine, some marmalades. For us, you know, cooking and wine is just our passion and it's always well mixed and it's the best.
Super presentation. Excellent. We felt like we were there. Thank you so much, Isabelle. That was very great. Do we have questions for Isabelle? Anyway, we will publish the video if you're okay with that. Please. On the trade show and also all the social networks. Okay. Merci beaucoup. C'était excellent.
Thank you, Isabelle. It was great.
Merci. Bye bye.
À bientôt.
Bye bye.
À bientôt.
Bye, Tianji.
Bye. Bye.
Nice presentation. Hein?
Ouais, c'était super, hein. Ouais, j'ai adoré.
Ouais, vraiment vivant, la personne était bien, quoi.
Oui, c'est ça. Elle connaît son discours. C'était génial. C'était génial. Très belle présentation. Je l'ai édité. Oui.
Elle était humble et elle présentait vraiment bien.
Ouais, absolument, absolument. Non,
tu étais dans sa cave, tu sentais son vin pratiquement, cette femme-là. Non,
ouais,
c'est bien.
Ouais, super. Bon, je vais l'éditer, on va le mettre sur les réseaux. Bye.
Bye.